Hey everybody, I'm Drew and this is Clean Cheap Shots. We're out here today just cutting up some firewood with a buddy, and I gotta tell you, we got our head on a swivel. This pasture's full of buffalo, so normally I like my videos to go viral, but not this one. And so we're gonna keep watching, we're gonna keep cutting some wood, but I also got three things I'm gonna do today. I got a VR, I got a thank you, and I'm gonna show you some cards. So we're gonna get back to the wood and we'll be back in a minute with the cards. All right, sorry, I'm a little out of shape and a little out of breath today. All right, so the first thing we're gonna do is for Vintage Dave T. He's got a VR, he just hit 100 subs, and what Dave wanted us to do, and Dave, I had to do a little research, is he wanted us to talk about a Seattle Mariner that was traded to our favorite team. And so Dave, there hasn't been a lot of trades between the A's and the Mariners, so I had to do the Mr. Google search here, and so I'm going to read off this. But so Dave, what I have here is first trade is Ryan Healy for Emilio Pagan, and I don't think anybody benefited from that trade. I hardly even remember Ryan Healy or Emilio Pagan for that matter. The second trade was Yonder Alonso for Boog Powell, not Boog Powell, the Baltimore Orioles. I have a feeling this is probably his son, but in 2017, they traded Alonso for Powell, and Powell never did amount to anything. And Alonso, I think you guys probably got a good half year from him. And 2017 is when that trade went down, and that was the only year he actually made the All-Star team. And just a little trivia, Manny Machado is his brother-in-law. So Dave, that's what I got for you. Congratulations on 100 subs. Keep up the good work, and I'm looking forward to seeing more of your videos. And so the second thing I wanted to talk about before I show some cards is I wanted to thank Andy from Over D's Collection. In his last video, he did the Thanksgiving series, what he's thankful for, and he gave me a shout out, and it was really, really kind, and I really appreciate it, Andy. I'm still a little speechless. So again, once again, really appreciate that shout out. Thanks again, Andy. And Andy is just short of 200 subs, so I think for Christmas, at the very least, we can get him over 200 subs. I think that'd be fantastic. All right, let's take a look at some 1956 Topps cards. And I showed a couple of these in my last video, and the first was Gene Conley. So Gene Conley, I mentioned, had an NBA championship and a World Series championship. Well, the fact is he had 3 NBA championships with the Boston Celtics and 1 World Series championship with the Braves. So just wanted to mention that, and I'll show the backs. I know the backs are really pretty cool. The next card is Jackie Robinson. Now, I got a question here. This is Johnny Padres, who's a pitcher, number 45, and I want to understand why in the world is he so close to the play. Where's the umpire? And anybody knows that if you're on the on-deck circle and there's a close play at home, you need to be telling Jackie, hey, slide or stand up. And he's not doing anything. He's just getting a front row seat to that play. So, and here's the back of Jackie's card. All right, next up is Bob Turley. Again, I showed this one too last time, but I found this interesting, and I didn't see it until I got home. But there's actually a 1950s photobomb. So you'll see a guy batting here, and I think there's another guy right here. I'm wondering if this is in a batting cage and he's taking batting practice beforehand. So I thought that was kind of cool. There's the back of that one. And we're keeping our eyes open. We don't want this video to go viral for any particular reason. But anyway, okay, so Mayo Smith, next guy. I just think this is kind of hilarious. I don't know if he's scoring a touchdown or signaling a touchdown or what, but here's the back of that one. And the cartoons, I think, are always fantastic. I always enjoyed those. All right, next up, we got Don Zimmer. Most of you probably remember him as a manager, and I certainly do, with the Cubs and a coach with the Red Sox. But what's funny here is when I look at this, I think of Don Zimmer, the manager. And when you think of Don Zimmer, the manager, you don't think that he'd ever be able to jump that high. And also this card actually reminds me a little bit of the Pee Wee Reese card, the Bowman, I believe it is, where it's a horizontal card and he's turning 2 at second. I think it's staged, I don't know, but it kind of reminds me of that one a little bit. And It's a gray back, and there's your Don Zimmer. All right. Next up, Jimmy Pearsall, excuse me, Jimmy Pearsall, who had a lot of mental health issues. I just noticed that looks like we have Yogi Berra in this photo as well. And I got to thinking, Yogi Berra might be on more 1956 cards than any other player. And someday I'm going to do a little research on that, but I've seen him in the background on several cards, not to mention his own card. So, Jimmy Pearsall, gray back. Next up, we have Walker Cooper. Walker Cooper was a catcher. And now, when you were a kid, you remember if you didn't have enough players and somebody got on base, you'd have to have a ghost runner? Well, I think that's what we got here. I think we got a ghost runner. You can barely see the guy, and it looks like he's trying to place a tag on a ghost runner. So I thought I'd pull that card back out and take another look at it, and here's the back of that one. Okay, the last card I have is for my Eddie Watt run, and I picked this one up as a 1974 Topps Traded card of Eddie Watt, and so it's in a PSA 8. And so at the end of this video, I'm going to show 2 more questions that came from that most recent interview that I did down at 93.7 The Ticket. So Mr. Watt, and on the back it talks about what's new for Phillies. All right, so what we did was we cut a slit right into the log here, the tree, and we got all the cards nicely displayed, from Jackie Robinson all the way over to here to Gene Conley. All right, I got to keep watching. Don't want to get snuck up on. So when you're out here too, you got to watch for landmines. So the last time I was out here, and it looks like they're all coming over to greet me, but last time I was out here, I set a land speed record. I had one come up kind of quiet like, snuck up on me, and I had to jump through a ravine and up on the bank on the other side and take off running. So as it was, let's see if I can zoom in a little bit here. Got a couple calves in there. So Drew 2, Buffalo 0. Maybe next time, guys. All right, everybody. I still have 2 questions from Eddie Watt yet to come from that recent interview. And check out the Buffalo Burger. Keep growing your collection, card farmers. Stay tuned for Eddie Watt. Thanks. Brent from Mac Wax Stacks, he had a question for you. So you were on scholarship to play basketball in Northern Iowa. He wants to know what would the scouting report look like for Eddie Watt back then?
Oh, a little short, pudgy guy that didn't make too many mistakes. I was not blessed with being a good shooter. My forte was I was quick. I was determined. Somehow, I guess it was my early upbringing, the position that I was put in as a kid, junior high, high school, that I was always on my feet, always active, always having to work, having to do things for myself, that I was always in very good physical conditioning, and I could run all day, and I loved to play defense and chase people around. I didn't, like I said, I was not a very good shooter, but I was difficult to guard a little bit. If you got too close, I'd run around you, and people tried that, which was a mistake because I couldn't shoot, and I ended up scoring a few points, but not much. My job was handling the ball and playing defense and hustling all over the place, which I liked to do, and I did.
The game's changed an awful lot over the years. Talk about pitch counts and openers. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I of course don't agree with the pitch count philosophy, and I'm probably wrong. I think when Moneyball or whatever it is come in with the what do they call it? All the number of pitches and the bat speed, the elevation,
analytics, yeah.
analytics. When that came in, I think it made babies out of a lot of the pitchers. I played in the minor leagues for 4 years as a starter. Never pitched relief in the minor leagues at all. Started 100 games in the 4 years. I averaged over 7 innings to start, almost 8 innings to start. No pitch counts. I think out of those 100 games I started, I don't think I ever finished any under 130 or 140 pitches. You can build your arm up, but you have to start doing it as a kid. I have a grandson who wanted to be a pitcher, but instead of doing anything when he was a child to build up the strength in his arm, the durability in his whole body, he spent most of his time in front of a computer and a set of earphones playing Forge of Kings or Valley of the Dolls or something, and ended up not hurting his arm, but his arm hurt because it just wasn't strong enough. I didn't have that choice. Of course, we didn't have television and computers as a kid. We didn't even have electricity, for crying out loud, till I was about in 4th grade, 5th grade. So you have to do things to build your arm up. And if you do, 100 pitches is not a problem.